Hi, I'm Karen, also known as the Preacher Lady. Today's devotion is Zeal of Our Heroes. We have been watching WandaVision. Now, don't worry, I'm not going to give you any spoilers. But what struck me today is that lots of us look for a way to escape reality, especially when life is painful. When I was a kid and people were mean or hateful, I would come home and bury my nose in a science fiction book or a fantasy book. I'd go and play Dungeons and Dragons with my friends. More recently, I would write paranormal romance, which will most likely never be published or read by anyone else. We look for a world where we will be valued for who we are. We look for a world where bad things don't happen to good people. We look for a world that is fair, or we look for a world where there are heroes trying to make things that way. Without spoilers, or at least no more than the commercials show, Wanda wanted that kind of world. She wanted her happily ever after. As Christians, we know that we are promised a happily ever after. Revelation 21:4 promises that he will wipe away every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more. Mourning and crying and pain will be no more. For the first things have passed away. But still, there are some times when I just want to go home and watch Star Wars or Superman, where I know I'm going to see the good guys win. The problem comes when we turn to our fantasies and escapes without doing anything to make this world better. This week's lectionary passage from John chapter 2 is where Jesus cleanses the temple. He sees people there buying and selling in the temple, and he doesn't go bury his head in a book, not even the good book. Or he doesn't go off to talk about how things should be. Jesus does something. And in verse 17, it says, his disciples remembered that it was written, zeal for your house will consume me. Now, there is nothing wrong with imagining a world that is different. There's nothing wrong with enjoying stories about a fantasy world. But what would happen if any time we encountered pain or injustice, everyone just turned their back on the real world? After all, we're promised that God will win in the end, aren't we? No matter what we do. In the movie The Matrix, Neo was given a choice. He can take the pill that will let him go back to the illusionary world where everything is okay and controlled. Or he can take the pill that will let him see the world as it really is. But if he does that, he can't go back. Once he sees what is wrong, he has to do something. He has to become a hero. We have a choice too. When we see injustice or pain or suffering, we can pretend it isn't there. Or we can be disciples. The definition of disciple is someone who follows the master. We can follow Jesus into the temple and say, no, this isn't the way God intended it to be. We can stand up for those who society puts down. We can reach out our hand to those who need it. We can be the heroes that God needs. Don't get me wrong. I plan to watch the WandaVision finale. And I will still go to superhero and science fiction movies on opening day, even if opening day has to be from home for a while. I will still enjoy my fantasy novels. But I'll remember that I also have a call as a disciple. Just because God will be wiping away tears in the end times doesn't mean that as a follower of Jesus, I can ignore the tears of my brothers and sisters today. We need to have zeal for what Jesus cared about. Watch a video of fans going to Comic-Con or one of the other big conventions. Geeks like us have a great zeal for their favorite comic books or movies or TV shows or books. We need to harness that zeal for the good of the kingdom. Have a blessed week. If you enjoyed this devotion, you can find us at Geeks of Faith on Facebook, or you can subscribe to this YouTube channel. Have a blessed day.